On the 4th of February, 2026, Meghan Markle landed at Dubai International Airport. A series of high-end brand promotion meetings, discreet conversations with regional media executives, and music, an intimate dinner with Gulf investors were planned in connection with a March campaign launch. She was stopped by border officers, taken into a private interview room, and without any intense confrontation or legal charges, was denied entry. Meghan reportedly contacted the British royal family, not the U.S. Embassy, to request diplomatic support based on her marriage to Prince Harry and her role as the mother of 2 royal children. What led to this high-profile expulsion? Why did Dubai, known for its discretion, image sensitivity, and global connectivity, choose to shut its doors to one of the most talked about women in the world? She walked into Dubai expecting red carpets, but walked out denied, silenced, and alone. Why did one of the richest kingdoms in the world slam the door on Meghan Markle? And what explosive secrets were behind that decision? The British royal family will not provide diplomatic sponsorship for Meghan Markle. She no longer represents the crown in any form, nor is she authorized to invoke our name for private endeavors. Statement from Prince William. The 5th of February, 2026, Buckingham Palace. That single line, clear, measured, and brutally final, reverberated through international headlines like a diplomatic thunderclap. For the first time in recent royal memory, a senior member of the royal family has formally and publicly disavowed Meghan Markle following her high-profile refusal of entry into the United Arab Emirates. The statement was not leaked, whispered, or ambiguously worded. It was deliberately issued directly from Prince William through Buckingham Palace's Global Affairs Office, and it leaves no room for misinterpretation. Her Grace's current activities, travels, and affiliations are not coordinated with nor endorsed by the royal household. The United Kingdom's diplomatic channels remain governed by Her Majesty's government and respective consular authorities, not by spousal entitlement or media status. What triggered such an unambiguous rebuke? Just days ago, Meghan Markle, former Duchess of Sussex, estranged royal and increasingly embattled public figure, was quietly denied entry at Dubai International Airport upon landing, for what insiders claimed was a private branding mission. According to senior UAE border officials and diplomatic observers, Meghan attempted to bypass standard consular channels by referencing her past association with the British royal family. Instead of contacting the U.S. consulate, music, where she remains a citizen, she invoked royal channels requesting diplomatic clearance based on her marriage to Prince Harry and her status as mother to Prince Archie and Princess Leet, a title convention long disputed and now practically irrelevant in official royal terms. But the move backfired spectacularly. On February 4th, Meghan arrived in Dubai on a commercial private class flight, expecting, according to a source close to her team, a soft landing, discreet handling, and a smooth runway into the March promotional calendar. She dressed the part. Her entourage was prepped for media silence. A soft launch for her rumored Leet Luxe lifestyle line was allegedly in pre-production, but the warm welcome never arrived. Instead, Meghan was pulled aside by UAE immigration officials, asked several routine questions, and invited into a private room for standard review. Her passport was held briefly, then returned. No detainment, no aggressive questioning, but the message was clear. You are not welcome at this time. Within an hour, she was asked to reboard the next available return flight. The UAE did not issue a formal explanation, but according to Article 11 of the UAE Federal Law on Entry and Residence, border officials are granted full discretion to deny entry without explanation or appeal. Meghan reportedly left the terminal in silence. No photos, no press, no statement. The real crisis began not with the rejection itself, but with what Meghan did after being escorted out. Sources familiar with the incident, music, claim she contacted British diplomatic liaison, not American ones, seeking royal assistance. Her reasoning. According to a senior source within the UAE's Foreign Affairs Network, Meghan claimed she was entitled to diplomatic consideration because she remains legally married to Prince Harry, a royal bloodline figure. She is the mother of 2 children titled as Prince and Princess under the legacy decrees of Queen Elizabeth II. She was on a tight timeline to return to California for the spring semester registration of Archie and Lilith, an event that has previously involved jurisdictional disputes with the state of California's Child Protection Services, a situation known to have once reached palace briefings in 2025. The request was swiftly forwarded to the royal household for verification. And then came the bombshell. Music. Buckingham Palace issued a direct rejection. Prince William's statement closed the door on any further ambiguity. The matter of Meghan Markle's current travels is one for the appropriate consular authorities. We will not intervene, Prince William, direct to UAE counterparts. The response wasn't just a bureaucratic brush-off. It was a diplomatic severing of ties by stating that Meghan and Harry no longer represent the crown. William affirmed what had long been whispered inside royal and diplomatic circles. Meghan Markle is now considered a private citizen acting in exile. Not just physically removed from the royal inner circle, but now formally denied the right to use her former affiliations for any public, music private, or political purpose. The statement was reinforced hours later by Princess Anne, who in a press-side briefing declared, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, while bound in family, do not represent the royal institution. Any attempts to project royal affiliation for commercial or personal endeavors are expressly prohibited and violate the standing directives agreed upon during their 2020 exit. Meghan's team has gone radio silent. No official comment has been released from her PR representatives, nor has Harry made any public appearance, but palace insiders and UAE diplomatic channels confirm Meghan's attempt to enter under implicit royal immunity has been logged and rejected. Her planned media calendar for Dubai in March 2026 is can-led. The Saudi Arabia initiative, previously floated as a next step, is now under severe internal review with Riyadh's leadership reportedly uneasy about brand alignment risks. The doors that Meghan once imagined as wide open now seem firmly shut. The rejection Meghan Markle faced in Dubai didn't come out of nowhere. Music. It was the culmination of a global unraveling that has touched every corner of her so-called post-royal empire. From housing instability to international legal scrutiny, from corporate divorce to royal abandonment, the image Meghan once cultivated has not just faded, it has fractured. In the wake of her expulsion from Dubai on February 4th, Meghan's media machine has fallen silent. But the backdrop to this collapse tells the real story. This was not an isolated diplomatic glitch. It was a reckoning long in the making. Insiders close to the property owner of Meghan and Harry's Montecito mansion confirm what was previously whispered. The couple was not relocating by choice. Rather, after multiple delayed rent payments, alleged unreported structural modifications, and a heated conflict over back taxes, the couple was formally removed from the property on January 14th. Lonson Ling Akalu. A quiet court filing in Santa Barbara County unearthed by investigative reporters lists the final legal motion as non-renewal of private lease due to conflict with contractual use. The eviction was handled quickly and discreetly, a stark contrast to the Oprah-era glamour once associated with their West Coast lifestyle. The once-prized Spotify deal, initially valued at $25 million, was terminated in late 2025 amid accusations of low output, poor engagement, and excessive creative control demands. Then came Netflix. What began as a $0 million content deal has now dwindled to a loose holding agreement. Netflix executives, reportedly disappointed by underwhelming viewership and brand risk, declined to renew the Sussexes development contract in January 2026. And the cornerstone of Meghan's ambitions. The Archwell Foundation is now under investigation in both the U.S. and the U.K. for suspected misappropriation of funds, inaccurate tax filings, and improper employee severance arrangements. As of this writing, several former employees of Arul have filed civil complaints for wrongful termination and unpaid compensation. U.S. federal authorities are probing alleged false representations on partnership agreements tied to Meghan's commercial wellness arm. A high-profile inheritance dispute with Tyler Perry, once their strongest post-royal ally, is unfolding behind closed doors with Perry claiming he was manipulated into transferring funds under false pretenses. The result, a brand in free fall. In late 2025, Meghan began quietly repositioning herself toward the Middle East, floating the idea of becoming a diplomatic cultural bridge for modern Arab women, a move that baffled geopolitical observers and alarmed royal advisors. Insiders say Meghan was in early-stage discussions with media buyers in Dubai, Qatar, and even Saudi Arabia, pitching herself as a global female empowerment ambassador. She hoped to launch a wellness and luxury brand anchored by a reality-infused documentary series tracing her transformation from royal exile to sovereign entrepreneur. The campaign was Internally dubbed Leet Rising, but now the entire project is dead. Dubai's rejection has effectively poisoned the brand in Gulf states. Saudi Arabia has reportedly paused all exploratory talks, citing concerns over Meghan's international liabilities and unpredictable public behavior. Regional media outlets in Kuwait and Bahrain have published op-eds warning against Western fame figures with unresolved political baggage. The Middle East, once seen as Meghan's golden opportunity, has turned cold. In the months leading up to the Dubai debacle, Meghan's PR advisors tried every angle to reframe her narrative. Victimhood, rebirth, global feminism, motherhood. But in every case past scandals returned like ghosts. Staff mistreatment claims first reported by former Palisades in 2021 resurfaced. In new testimonies, the accusation of media manipulation that Meghan stages crisis only to heroically emerge has gained traction, especially after the Netflix miscarriage episode was criticized for emotional exploitation. The secret donor baby narrative tied to unconfirmed birth rumors about Archie and Leet remains a whispered scandal in elite circles, and the failure to clarify her business models, whether philanthropic or profit-driven, has led international regulators to classify her ventures as hybrid risk entities. As one Middle East diplomat put it bluntly, she is too famous to ignore and too unstable to embrace. If Meghan Markle's quiet expulsion from Dubai stunned the global public, it did not surprise Middle Eastern diplomatic insiders. Her rejection at the border was neither spontaneous nor emotional. It was the result of calculated decision-making, grounded in Emirati law, image protection doctrine, and high-level diplomatic whispers, many of which began not in Washington, but in Windsor. Dubai's decision was clear. Meghan Markle posed a reputational risk and the country would not gamble its brand on her uncertain one. Under Federal Law No. 6 of 1973, concerning immigration and residence as updated in the UAE Immigration Law Code, immigration officers are granted total discretion to admit or deny any visitor without appeal and without obligation to state a reason. This isn't unique to Meghan, but what is unique is the severity of her perceived profile risk. According to multiple UAE government advisors who spoke on background, her presence on Emirati soil raised alarms. Not because she is a criminal, but because she is a controversy magnet with open legal entanglements, music, that is, incompatible with the UAE's soft power image. Dubai immigration authorities reportedly used a 4-point risk assessment to justify denying entry. Meghan unfortunately checked every box. Ongoing legal investigations under scrutiny in the US music and UK for improper charitable reporting. Archwell Foundation. Alleged misrepresentation of donations. Disputed financial transfers with Tyler Perry and other high-profile donors. International tax cooperation. Treaties allow such red flags to trigger entry denial, even absent criminal charges. Public image volatility. Known globally as a media disruptor, accused of orchestrating press spectacles, altering public timelines for personal gain, victim-centric PR manipulation, for example, miscarriage narrative. Oprah claims. Emirati officials cited recent viral threads on X, formerly Twitter, that catalogued 52 incidents where Meghan allegedly weaponized sympathy. This is not about her truth, a Gulf media advisor explained. It's about our stability, employer and staff conflicts. Former Archwell employees testified to sudden firings without severance, hostile work environment, inconsistent directives from Meghan herself. UAE places high value on honor-based leadership, and such patterns violate social trust norms. Improper entry justification. Meghan did not apply under proper media or business visas. Failed to disclose planned meetings with luxury brand liaison and digital production teams reportedly preparing soft launch footage claimed entry for personal family planning, which UAE officials saw as misleading. Perhaps most damning of all, Emirati authorities received private warnings from their UK diplomatic counterparts. According to a senior Gulf advisor familiar with royal relations, Buckingham Palace did not request denial, but they absolutely clarified that no royal support would be forthcoming. That was seen as a red flag. If her own former family won't stand by her, why should we? Documents suggest that palace representatives communicated directly with UAE's Ministry of Foreign Affairs as early as February 2, alerting them that Meghan should not be treated as a diplomatic figure, regardless of her surname. The communication was reportedly signed off by Prince William himself, who has taken on a quasi-ministerial role in coordinating global crown relations during King Charles's health-related absences. The royal household formally distances itself from the private actions and intentions of the Duchess of Sussex. Her activities are not aligned with crown objectives, the memo reportedly read. In a highly unusual parallel move, Princess and Long, considered the royal family's no-nonsense enforcer, issued her own statement to Commonwealth observers and diplomatic partners. It must be understood that Meghan Markle and her husband do not act on behalf of the Crown, the monarchy, nor the United Kingdom. Any associations drawn between their actions and the institution are purely speculative and legally unsubstantiated. She further warned against use of royal titles for commercial purposes, implied endorsements of products or media initiatives, unconnoted use of family connections in international dealings. This was widely seen as a preemptive strike meant to block Meghan's rumored plans to market her royal journey in Gulf-based media outlets. Though no public press conference was held, senior Emirati sources told Al Arabiya and Sky News Arabia off-record that Dubai is not a rehabilitation center for distressed public figures. We do not open doors for individuals whose fame is wrapped in confusion, contradiction, and institutional rejection. A former Emirates-based diplomat added, Meghan has become symbolic of brand volatility. No Gulf state wants to be the setting for her next episode. Following the Dubai incident, attention turned to Saudi Arabia, where Meghan was reportedly exploring residency under a cultural diplomacy initiative. Sources now say that those talks have stalled indefinitely, with Riyadh expressing concerns over unquantifiable reputation risk. One high-ranking policy analyst phrased it harshly. She is the opposite of sovereign. She's stateless in symbolism. What shocked many observers wasn't that Meghan Markle was rejected by Dubai, but that she tried once again to invoke the very institution she'd accused, distanced from, and fought in court, the British royal family. Yet it was this very attempt, music, quietly made at immigration, and amplified through back-channel requests that triggered the harshest and most final response yet from Buckingham Palace. This was no longer just estrangement. It was a coordinated institutional firewall led by Prince William and Princess and erected to stop any further use or abuse of royal affiliation. William's decision to step into the Dubai situation was not spontaneous. Sources inside Clarence House and the Foreign Office confirmed that discussions regarding Meghan's increasing misuse of royal status had already begun before the February 4th incident. Her growing international travel, her undisclosed branding partnerships, and her quiet attempts to reframe herself as a global duchess were perceived as reputational threats to the monarchy. But it was her attempt to call upon royal diplomatic privilege in Dubai, bypassing her own U.S. consular channels that crossed the final line. Senior advisor to Prince William revealed under condition of anonymity. There was consensus among all senior royals. Meghan cannot be allowed to wear the royal name abroad when it suits her, especially while refusing all accountability and exploiting the past for personal gain. William's official statement on the 5th of February, 2026, was intentionally brief, but every word was sharpened with meaning. He declared that Meghan Markle no longer represents the Crown in any context. No royal diplomatic assistance would be extended to her regardless of her marriage or motherhood status. The matter should be handled entirely by the U.S. Embassy as she remains a U.S. citizen with no official royal assignment. This was not a subtle rebuke. This was a formal disavowal. Since the couple's exit in 2020, Meghan and Harry had occupied a gray zone, still using the titles Duke and Duchess of Sussex, still introducing themselves at international events with royal language and often implying that certain royal protocols still applied. That ambiguity suited them for years. But according to senior royal legal aides, this vagueness was increasingly untenable. What William and Anne did this week was not just clarify, they closed the last door of symbolic return. There will be no soft reinstatement, no passive enabling. The Crown has now publicly defined the separation, said one retired palace legal advisor. The royal loophole. Meghan's ability to navigate luxury and influence by subtly invoking her past status is now functionally and legally gone. While William's statement grabbed headlines, it was Princess Anne who handled the diplomatic groundwork. As the senior royal most trusted in international affairs and the one least affected by emotional narrative, and quietly reached out to UAE and Commonwealth officials to reinforce the palace's stance. In a letter circulated privately to UAE diplomats and several members of the Commonwealth Secretariat, Anne warned that Meghan and Harry are not royal envoys. Any use of royal titles for commercial gain is considered unauthorized and reputationally damaging. No cooperation or media collaboration involving Meghan Markle should reference or imply royal endorsement. This move sent a powerful message to global partners, particularly those in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Africa, where Meghan had hoped to reposition herself through philanthropic branding. One Foreign Office analyst noted, Anne's intervention effectively shut down the myth that Meghan could ever royally return through soft power. It was cold, efficient, and final. This is the first time in modern royal history that a former royal figure has been so publicly disavowed, not for criminal conduct, but for sustained reputational risk. Meghan's trajectory from international icon of empathy in 2021 to diplomatic pariah in 2026 is being treated inside the palace not just as a personal matter, but as a case study in brand containment. An internal royal memo from late January leaked to select press outlets listed Meghan as a Category Red individual, meaning she may attempt to use symbolic association with the monarchy to facilitate international influence. Her actions pose a soft reputational hazard to the royal household's neutrality doctrine. She should receive no logistical, financial, or narrative support from any royal-linked body. This classification, confirmed by royal correspondent Tim Harris, was approved by the Lord Chamberlain and shared with the Privy Council. In other words, Meghan Markle is not just socially isolated, she is now strategically severed. What then was Meghan thinking? Sources close to her camp suggest that she genuinely believed Dubai would welcome her not just for her celebrity, but for the soft prestige of her past title and the female empowerment narrative she crafted. She saw herself as an ideal bridge between Hollywood and the Middle East, between royal tradition and modern influence. But it was a catastrophic misread. Underestimated the risk aversion of Gulf governments. She misjudged the depth of royal anger over years of media damage. And most music of all, she assumed royal affiliation could be revived when convenient. An assumption that William and have now crushed entirely, as the fallout from Meghan Markle's denied entry into Dubai continues to escalate. On the global stage, the shockwaves are now visibly shaking the very foundation of her marriage to Prince Harry. Once portrayed as an inseparable, rebellious royal pair seeking freedom on their own terms, the couple now appears deeply fractured, not only in their public image, but increasingly in their personal bond. According to multiple insiders close to the Sussex household, the Dubai debacle has exposed a growing divide between the two, one marked by mistrust, conflicting life goals, and fundamentally incompatible strategies for survival outside the monarchy. It has been widely reported that Prince Harry was not informed in advance about Meghan's trip to Dubai. Sources close to the couple alleged that she left for the UAE alone, believing she could handle the situation diplomatically and strategically. But when news broke of her refusal at the border, Harry was blindsided, left to pick up the pieces without any prior context. One palace insider bluntly noted, Harry may be married to her, but Meghan operates independently. This wasn't a family trip. This was a campaign, and he wasn't part of it. The move not only embarrassed Harry, but also strained what little trust remained between them. For Harry, it wasn't just about being excluded. It was about being associated with yet another controversy he had no control over. In recent weeks, the couple's communications have become strained. According to former staffers and two anonymous household sources, Meghan and Harry have reportedly begun sleeping in separate rooms at their temporary accommodation in Bear. They've been described as coldly cordial around staff, but rarely seen speaking for extended periods unless about Archie and Lilith's schedule. The tone is no longer romantic or united. It is businesslike and brittle. One of Harry's longtime friends confided to a British tabloid, Harry feels like he's living in someone else's PR war. He didn't sign up for this. He wanted music, freedom, not fallout. Tensions have also reportedly deepened over finances with the Spotify and Netflix contracts now dissolved or downgraded, and Archwell's funds frozen amid investigation. The Sussexes face mounting legal fees, cancelled deals, and housing instability. Meghan, according to several sources, believes they should pursue new international markets, even if that means pushing diplomatic boundaries as she tried in Dubai. Harry, meanwhile, is said to be yearning for a simpler, more grounded path, possibly even a quiet reconnection with the royal family. This difference in approach has reportedly led to numerous late-night arguments described by insiders as intense, hushed, and increasingly one-sided. Meghan reportedly accuses Harry of retreating and choosing comfort over courage, while Harry accuses Meghan of dragging him into battles that don't need to be fought. Despite reports that Harry has reached out privately to palace officials, his efforts have been met with a wall of silence. William continues to avoid direct contact. King Charles, already embattled with national matters and health rumors, is said to have closed the door emotionally on his youngest son. Even Princess Anne, once one of Harry's few internal defenders, has reportedly expressed zero appetite for reintegration, while Meghan remains in the picture. "He will always be family," a palace aide said.